Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a quick intro because I forgot to do this yesterday and now it's in the morning and it's actually 3:30 in the morning. My flight is at 7 a.m. So I'm heading to the airport. I have my mask right here. I'm gonna be wearing this throughout this trip. I actually also have medical masks that my dentist gave me. So I'll be wearing that as well most of the time. This is just like for car ride and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm kind of nervous. It's my first flight during this whole like pandemic. I've watched YouTube videos and some people had good experiences. Some people were on flights that were very crowded. I'm obviously a little bit scared because I'm going to Spain. I'm going to see my family. And even though I'm going to be quarantined for 2 weeks, I am going to be in contact with my family as soon as I get there. And I don't want to, put them at risk. So we'll see. I'm going to be very, very careful. And yeah. So I'm ready to head out now. Although I've been traveling in airports ever since I can remember, I knew that this trip would be nothing like before. This made me extra curious and observant throughout my trip, and I made note of everything unusual that I saw. The first thing I noticed was that the domestic terminal in the Seattle airport seemed pretty business as usual. It wasn't crowded, but that seemed normal for an airport at 4 in the morning. I also didn't notice a whole lot of COVID safety measures, or at least not as much as what I would later see in Dublin. Once on the flight, we were given a snack inside a plastic bag. I've never seen this done before, so I'm assuming it had to do with reducing human interaction with the food. I was extremely tired at this point as I had slept only for 4 hours the night before, so I slept for the rest of this flight. The next airport, in Chicago, was extremely busy when I arrived. It was later in the day, around 1 p.m., and I was in the domestic terminal. Everyone wore masks, but again, no additional safety measures, and you'll see what I mean when I get to the Dublin airport. I transferred on a bus over to the international terminal, and this is where things got interesting. I checked my flight's gate on the departures board, only to find that there were only 11 international flights, out of which only 4 were going to Europe. And it didn't stop there. The airport was completely empty and most businesses were closed. Another store is closed. Every store is closed here. Okay, so this is a bit off topic, but I wanted to talk about the public toilets in Chicago. If anybody watching this is from Chicago, please tell me if this is normal, but basically they have plastic wrappers or wraps around the seats that move and change when you click a button. I thought it was pretty cool, but very, very wasteful, which surprised me of the US. Okay, so back to my trip. On my domestic flight from Seattle to Chicago, I would say we were at 60% capacity. On this flight to Dublin, I would say we were at around 30%. Definitely not as crazy as what I've seen online with 1 or 2 people on an airplane, but still a pretty low number. Oh, and I should mention that on every flight I took, I had all next door seats to myself. Lunch was pretty good. Nothing out of the usual, though I've never flown on Aer Lingus before. I talked to my 3 sisters who've all flown internationally very recently because they were also studying abroad, and they noticed that the quality on their airplanes had gone down, the quality of the food. I didn't notice that on Aer Lingus, but I wouldn't be surprised if other airlines were starting to do that. here I filmed the people in the rows next to me because you can see them both sleeping on the 3 seats of their row. Basically, everyone had all seats in their row to themselves so they could lie down and sleep like this. It was basically like a first class upgrade at no cost. When I arrived in Dublin, the departures board was less empty than it was in Chicago. I'd imagine that the reason was that European countries were beginning to open up their borders again, but still, the airport was just as empty as the previous. What mostly caught my eye was the enormous amount of precautions that had been taken. There were yellow signs everywhere warning about safety procedures, hand sanitizers could be found at every corner, and half of the seats were made unavailable to help with social distancing. I got to my gate around 2 hours before takeoff, and for a long time I thought that I'd be the only one on my flight because my gate was empty, and of course I thought that would be great for my YouTube video, but eventually and gradually around 30 more people showed up, still a small number, and as you can imagine, my flight was very empty. I slept through the entirety of my last flight again and finally got to my destination, which was Spain, to see my family. So I hope you guys enjoyed coming along. This was super fun to film and I'm happy to share. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.
Thank you for choosing to fly with Aer Lingus. It has been our pleasure having you on board. We do hope you have enjoyed your flight and we do look forward to welcoming you on board many times into the near future. To comply with local health authority recommendations regarding social distancing, we will be disembarking the aircraft by seat row number. Please remain seated until the passengers in the seat row in front of you have disembarked. And can I ask you to remember to check your completed passenger locator form with you when leaving the aircraft and have them ready for inspection by authorities inside the terminal building.